So Magnificai.ai is the ultimate tool to being able to enhance and upscale your images. They have been recently acquired by FreePic, which is like another platform that provide different type of tools and feature. So I'm not sure if it will stay independent of it will move over to FreePic. But pretty much today, if you go on Magnificai.ai, I will show you in a minute the interface. One thing that you need to keep in mind, it work with credits, and it can get like easily expensive and pricey. So what I recommend you to do in the workflow is like you can just like start to like upscale and enhance a couple of images. When you sign up, you get some free credits. But when you're starting to using it for like real projects, it's very hard to kind of like going back to not using it when you share images with clients or like on an art project. But I would recommend that you kind of like curate first all the content you're generating on Midjourney before starting upscaling, because it can get easily pricey and expensive. And to give you an idea, there is like different plan, different subscription. Like the Magnific Premium is like 100 per month, and you have 6,500 token per month. So it can go like easily out of credit. You have like the more expensive tier. If you go on like a yearly basis, you get a better deal. I'm not affiliate with Magnific. They hook me up sometimes with a free credit, which is great. And I'm going to try to get some for the students of the Masters of AI program. And so just to show you, I will show you all the settings and then what it goes. But like basically here you have the amount of credits you have. Here you have the feature you want to use. They recently released what they call style transfer. I haven't played with it too much. It is basically made to kind of like transfer like the style of like an image, a little bit similar to like the style reference, but you can do that afterward. But let's focus on the upscale part. And then you drag and drop an image here. So it's like pretty straightforward. I'm going to do it right now. But then, we can use this one first. Here, you will have the multiply factor. So you can multiply by 2, 4, 8, or 16. I always recommend to like start with 2. And once you did the first round of upscale, you can do it another time and another time. Because sometimes if you go too crazy right away, it will add a bunch of like weird artifacts on your image. So we can do by 2. And then here is the most important part is like what is optimized for. So when you're working on like a portrait or a person, there is pretty much 2 options that are very interesting, the soft and the hard portraits. If you're doing like art and illustration, video game, landscape, 3D render, pretty self-explanatory. I use a lot the film and photography preset, but for this example, let's do like a soft portrait. You don't need to add a prompt here. It's not necessary because you want to keep like the same image. And here you have a bunch of like additional settings that you can use. I recommend playing around with it when you start to, when you're looking to do like a real deepfake with like a real person. So like, for example, you can reduce like a bit the creativity, meaning that the render will be as close as possible of your model. But for this first test, like keep it to like 0, and then the resemblance you can increase. Then you can play around with this like other settings as well. Never go like too crazy, but like, if you like add 2 there, remove 2 over there, just like seeing how it impacts your results, that can be interesting. But usually the preset are pretty good, and the automatic engine works very well. Here is telling you how much credits you're going to use and what will be the size of your outcome. So let's do it. I'm going to launch the upscaling, and I'm going to do the hard portrait mode as well. So upscale, we're only in by 2. And then we also going to use this image that I generated. And then for this one, we're going to use a film and photography. So it's going to take a couple of seconds, sometimes minutes. It's fairly fast, so you can drag and drop. One of the limits with Magnific right now is like you cannot batch upscale images. So you really need to like go like one by one, doing what I did, and then you can like re-render and see how it goes. That can be a bit of a frustration if you have a lot of images to upscale. But I tried a lot of solution online. I haven't found like anything that is like better than them, because not only it will increase the size of the image and the resolution, but it will also like refine the texture of the skin and the details and the eyes, and is like pretty mind-blowing. So let me show you quickly. This is like the stuff. So like on the before, like if I move it this way, so this is like what the image looks like from Midjourney. It's already pretty impressive, but like it has kind of like all this like like the texture of the skin and everything, making it clear that it was made with AI. And then when you kind of like, move it this way, this is like the stuff render. I'm not sure how much you can see with screen sharing, but when you're going to do it yourself, you will be able to realize it's pretty impressive, because like the eyes, the hair, the facial hair, the lips, just like taking it to like another level. And here it's starting to like, it's very hard to like don't believe that this is like a real person. To show you the difference with like the hard mode. So here when you go in hard mode, it will create like a more sharp details and render, but it will also might result in creating some artifacts. So this is just like a different style. You need to like obviously play around with it. But as you can see here, working very well with the hair, making this like amazing eyes on the model, but then adding some like weirdness here. I'm going to show you in the next video how you can fix that easily with Photoshop AI. But let's say we want for like the more subtle version. Like I said before, you can click here and you can reuse final image. And you're gonna like put it here automatically. Let's go back to the soft and let's do another multiply by 2 upscale. And as you can see here, like you're starting to having like a pretty large image. The biggest resolution available for Magnificai is 10,000 by 10,000, but I will show you in a video later how you can take like your clean final video, and if you want to like upscale it pretty much indefinitely, we can do that with Topaz, which are like amazing software for upscaling. There is a way to do that in Stable Diffusion as well, but it's just a less like drag and drop process. I love using Topaz. You need to pay for the license. It's not a cheap software, but there you can like drag and drop like hundreds of images and it will process them automatically, and it runs locally on your machine, so it's pretty efficient. Here, that was to show you like the film and photography and like the difference. Like, so you really can see here, you're getting to like, okay, this looks like a Midjourney. This is like a nice image, but then this is like, like the reflection in her eyes and like all the details, so kind of like next level. It created this like weird things on her throat that we're gonna be able to like edit in Photoshop. But overall, even if you look at like the denim jacket, like all the details are like pretty mind-blowing. So that's it. We can try to like doing it this one as well, just to see if we create like more artifact or it's good like this. And yeah, and so you rerun. Obviously, it will take longer because there are larger images, but it's normal. You just need to be patient. While he's doing that, I'm going to show you Crea.ai. Crea.ai, they have 3 main features. The real-time AI generation is pretty amazing. I'm going to show you that in the next video. They have an enhancer that is good, but in my opinion, take longer than Magnificai. But the pricing model is different, doesn't work with credit, so that can be a good option for you if you're working on a budget. And then they have this like new video AI generation, same thing. I'm gonna show you in a dedicated video how to use that. But if you go to like the enhancer, it's pretty straightforward the way you use it. So like basically you drag and drop your image. Here you have the different settings. So like the upscale factor, I'm gonna move my head here. Here you have the settings. It's very same logic as Magnificai. It put by default a prompt here, and then here you have like the different presets. So like the flat sharp, something that works well. You can play around with the settings here if you want. It's telling you what will be the outcome. You have a color correction feature that doesn't exist in Magnificai. And so click enhancements. It's going to take a while. So while this is doing this, we can go back and check what we have here. It's still working on it. Sometimes you need to refresh just to like have the things going on. And because we have more time, I render, and I wanted to show you. So like I render, the same model wearing like one of my iconic samurai armors that I tried a long time ago. This is like mind-blowing to me, like the render. And then I'm going to show you when I'm working on something like this. Again, I'm using more like the film and photography. The video game can work, but just to show you how like the details will really shine and pop. There is this like close-up. I think this is like award-winning type of photography. And but also showing you how I can use like the same model across like different concepts. So like the first image is very standard, like she's here. So as you can see, this is from like another layer of like soft portrait. So resolution is higher. It's in my opinion, it's cool. It's I think a lot of like wrinkles. So like maybe we can clean them up a little bit and some like really minor like imperfection. But it is also making it like even more realistic across the board. So we're gonna see how it goes in a minute. But then what you can do is like once you have your avatar and you created the images, try it in Magnificai. You can use it as well for like all the stuff. I think that this is where it's the most impactful is really when you have a model. So here we go. So like this is like before, this is after. As you can see, like all the texture of the skin, like everything is just, you know, like next level. Like the details are like really, really impressive. On a texture like the armor, it's like adding a little bit. It doesn't like change too much, but it's still refining what it does. And then here we have this like amazing image. Creating some imperfections, some artifacts, like the noise is weird here. I'm going to show you how you can easily fix that in Photoshop, but like the eyes, everything is pretty impressive. I'm going to add that within the Notion and the share space, so you have all the different references. You can see here more imperfection. We're going to address that in a minute. And sometimes you can fix it by just like increasing the resemblance and removing fractality. And you don't necessarily need to go 10,000 by 10,000 there. It was just to kind of like showing you like different example, different style, and then having enough material that in the next video, we can use that to being able to, I'm going to be able to use that to show you in Adobe Photoshop with AI how you can fix all these different things. And then just here to show you on the sculpture. So like sculpture, for example, I'm going to have multiply 2. And then just to change, I'm going to show you like the 3D render. And then we can do like just like film and photography. Like one will be like more digital and the other one will be like more realistic, like a picture of the sculpture. In my opinion, that's you know, the extra layer that is beautiful, and that's why, you know, some of my content have been so popular on Instagram specifically, because I can create this like 4K resolution, super detailed render. And then when I use Leia Pix for doing the animation and the motion part, I will also like do in 4K. So that's why like overall the content is like so high quality. If you're working on like standalone still images on social, sometimes, you know, depending of like what is the image you're creating, you don't necessarily need to get through Magnificai. I will show you in a minute that like, you know, here it's really, if you want to like go to like the next level and the extra mile, it's a little bit like more blurry when there is no Magnificai, and then when you go to like Magnificai, it's just like making it like more sharper and beautiful. So that's something you can test. Experiment with the avatar first. Try to create like different images using the character references so you can see the impact on like the quality of the render. And please share it with the group and with me on Discord, because I would love to see what you're able to generate and having like a before and after Magnificai type of scenario. So we're going to be good here, just waiting for this final render, and then we're going to jump into Photoshop to show you how we can fix some of the imperfection we showed before. So here we go. It's the most powerful upscaling model in my opinion. There is like all the stuff on the market, but this is like definitely worth the investment if you're looking to create like super high quality content.